Hello, my name is Kuahea Kuahiko. I am a student here at UH Manoa, and I have autism. It's like a pretty big factoid about me. I was diagnosed when I was about 2 years old. My mom started to realize that I didn't comprehend things the same way that other kids did. There was this one incident where I had like started climbing up a ladder that was like 7 feet tall, and my mom is like, "What are you doing up there?" And I looked down at her. I was like, "What are you doing down there?" I've always been kind of bouncy ever since I was little. I have this habit where I like take things and I just like playing with grass, like I'm doing right now, or this really bad thing where I used to chew pencils. It was so bad where I would like chew on them, or like go at it until the end broke off and I had like lead in my mouth. It was really gross. And my grandmother was always really mad at me for that. She hated it. And she also hated that I could never really organize myself. And I used to do things like if I had like a locket or whatever, I would put it inside my mouth and start sucking on it. And she would be furious. She would be like, "We got you that necklace. Why would you do that to him?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's just what I want to do." Because I didn't know how to control my impulses at a young age. And I realized later that it was stimming, but like no one really knew what that was supposed to be or like properly explained it to me. In fact, no one explained that I had autism until I was like 10. And even then, no one really like explained it. I just happened to find out by accident. There was like a file on me where it's like, Kuahea suffers from Asperger's disorder, which is like the old way that you say high functioning autism. I don't believe in functioning labels anymore, but that's besides the point. When I think I was like 2 or 3 years old, I had gotten a vaccination shot. It was like one of my first ones, but I don't remember too much of it because I was too little to remember. And according to my mother, I stopped talking for like a while. And she said like, "Oh, it's because of the vaccine. Like, it must have done something to you." Like, it had been known that I was autistic at that point, so she assumed that there was a correlation. But what I think actually happened was that I was afraid to get a shot. I am like, I don't like people, no one likes needles when they're a kid. I don't like taking needles now because I haven't gotten used to getting shots. So my mom stopped getting vaccines for me. She stopped getting, my sister wasn't vaccinated. I am currently taking MMR shots right now in order to attend college here. But for a while, my family was able to get away with it because they said that they had religious reasons to do that. Even though that's for Jewish people, and we are not Jewish. I don't know why. So, like, this whole vaccines cause autism thing is kind of it doesn't make a lot of sense since autism is like a genetic thing. I'm pretty sure that it passed down from my mom's side of the family. She was like adopted by my grandmother, and we don't know much about my biological grandmother, but my mother shows the same symptoms that I do, and that's why I believe that it's more so a genetic thing. My grandmother on my dad's side is similar. She just things like I do. Like, she doesn't always pay close attention, and she also she eats food the way that I do, where I like separate it a little. I feel like if there are legitimate religious reasons why people can't get vaccinated, or like actual health reasons to get vaccinated, like I know there are people who that like are allergic to vaccines, then like there are good reasons to not take vaccinations. Like, there's a good reason to not want your kids to take vaccines if it literally causes them more trouble than it's worth. But if you can and you are able to take vaccines, I think you should vaccinate your children. I feel like it's irresponsible to allow your children to be at risk to be sick, because even if you think that your child is going to be safe and like they have a strong immune system, that doesn't mean that people's children will get that. The reason why we get vaccines for the masses is so that way those kids that I mentioned that can't get vaccines because of actual religious reasons, or because it'll cause them an even worse reaction, it'll get them sick and they'll die. There have been plenty of times where parents have held like sick parties, or like people in the area have stopped vaccinating their kids and people have gotten sick and died. So I think that there should be a law. I think that it's honestly neglect to not give your children vaccines when they need it. I think that it's irresponsible parenting. And almost every study about vaccines that like say, oh, vaccines are like, you know, it's a big pharma, whatever, or like people that have conspiracy theories about vaccines, I feel like you're fighting the wrong battle. And I feel like a lot of times when parents do that, they're just trying to find a way to like vilify themselves. And I think that a lot of times they have a messiah complex. I think that my mom had good intentions, and that I understand conceptually why she would do that, but I'm an adult now and I take vaccines because I cannot stand it if I am the reason that someone else gets sick. And like if someone else died because I was too proud to get a shot, then like that's on me. If you're afraid that if your kid is like afraid of needles or whatever and like they can't handle it, the best thing to do is like keep doing it, because I am terrified of needles. Like it's not as extreme where I stop talking to people after I get a shot, but it's definitely like where I need to have someone in the room with me and hold me down in order to do it, because I'm just going to move away whenever they do that. It's like a stressful experience. So I think that there should be a law protecting kids to like get vaccines and stuff, and I think that exceptions can be made. Like for any rule there are exceptions to the rule, and I think that it's just irresponsible to like let your kid get sick. Also, the more fucked up version of that whole argument is that you would rather have a sick child or a child that was dead or a child that will like infect anyone besides and the alternative is to have an autistic child. Even if vaccines did cause autism, you are prioritizing your child's health and well-being, because autism isn't a death sentence. Like sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's hard to deal with stuff, sometimes your kid will go nonverbal and you don't understand. I'm not saying that parents who have children who have autism have an easy job. They don't. But it's no excuse to like mistreat your children. They're smart kids. They can do things just like any other child. And if you're not prepared for the possibility that your child will grow into something that you don't understand, and you're not willing to change your parenting, you're a bad parent. Like, I'm sorry for saying that, but you're a bad parent if you're not prepared for your kid being something that's not you.